Hey guys, we're taking a look at a X-Men Retro line figure today, and this guy is one of my most wanted figures in the wave, not because we needed this character, but because I wanted this specific version of him. So today we're taking a look at our blue and white suit Cyclops. This is one of my all-time favorite ToyBiz figures from that era, so the nostalgia factor is high here. You've got him here on the vintage style card back, of course. You've got your 80 years logo, some beautiful 90s style artwork there with the amazing orange burst backer card and the figure, of course, in the tray. We've got a very ToyBiz style backer card here with some great cross-sell for the other figures in the line, and then you've got that big yellow cutout side panel with a bit of a bio, and then of course a little bit of character artwork. So let's do it. Let's unfortunately tear open this card and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our retro Cyclops, of course the X-Factor type of Cyclops. And frankly, this is, it's really one of my favorite suits for the character. The Jim Lee 90s era is always the top choice for me personally, but I have a real soft spot for this particular suit just because of where it comes from, and then also because of the ToyBiz figure from that vintage 5-inch figure. It's one of my favorite toys from when I was a kid, so seeing this guy was definitely a bit of a treat, and not to mention the fact that I've been pretty happy with the two Cyclops figures we've gotten previously, but this guy kind of ratchets things up a bit with what they've done to make him unique, not just when it comes to suit choice, but of course everything we've got going on with the heads. So let's jump right into this guy and see what he can do. You're not going to be surprised when it comes to articulation if you've seen either of the other Cyclops figures yet. So the head can look up really far, down all the way, rotate side to side. Arms go out, they rotate at the shoulder, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, you've got wrist hinge and rotation, ab crunch all the way back, but you get that nasty gap, and then all the way forward, but then he looks like that. And then you've got waist twist, you've got legs that go out about that far, kick forward, kick back a little, thigh cut, and then you've got your double jointed knees, you've got a boot cut, you've got rocker, and you've got hinges. So, he's a pretty standard Marvel Legends by all accounts in terms of body style and articulation. I wish he had a little bit more in terms of, say, butterfly joints or something like that, or just the newer updated articulation, but I'm okay with the consistency across the figures, and honestly, he moves well enough for Cyclops. You can get him in just good enough poses with what he comes with to be pretty happy with him. I'm really, really happy with how he moves. Nothing stuck, nothing too loose. He seems to be just fine all around. Now I'm sure you can guess what the main draw for this figure is for me. He moves around well enough, and that's great. But the looks is why I'm here. This suit does a lot of things for me on a nostalgia level, but it also looks really good in terms of what Hasbro's done here. So I'm really happy with the way they've actually built this suit, paint applications, and just the general sheen and luster on this figure. But then he's got this wild new head sculpt, which we're going to talk about here shortly. But of course, we have to talk about the body first. And it is the same stuff that we've seen through and through. It's a little bit different. The gauntlets that he has, the kind of glove cuffs, are not the same on either of the classic Cyclops or the 90s Cyclops. Of course, the general body is the same structure, hand choices, so a fist, and then of course the two fingers for, kind of tapping on his visor. And then you've got different boots down here. These are not the same that are on the classic Cyclops, and they're definitely not the same thing that's on the Jim Lee era Cyclops. The only thing that's kind of weird about these is the cuffs are oddly different sizes. They seem to be a little odd. This one seems to be a little more oversized than this one, and you can even see the R poking through right here to denote that it's the right one, and then the L on this one is just kind of peeking through over here. So at least I know I got the right pieces on this figure, which it's not really anything. It's just more of a funny thing to have noticed. Otherwise, though, I think he looks really good. The paint for this figure is pretty spot on. The colors are not 100% the same throughout, which is kind of what we get with Hasbro when it comes to like legs versus the rest of the body. But I think it looks good. The whites are super bright, super vibrant, and then these blues are so metallic and saturated and just hit the light so well. So I don't really care about anything else outside of the fact that I have really no paint flubs to talk about. I love this suit. I love the colors on this guy, and I think they absolutely knocked it out of the park. It's a really fun figure just to look at in a general sense, and it's a cool suit. It does a lot of things for me on a nostalgia level. It's not broken, so it's a winner just in the looks department right away. And all of that's before we even get to this head sculpt, which is truly just an awesome aspect of this figure. There is so much cool stuff going on from the neck up with this guy. So the previous two figures have just been Cyclops, kind of a stoic head. Obviously this is a bit of a stoic head, but they have gone above and beyond with this guy to give us the very, very appropriate kind of spilling out of the optic blast as he's kind of like leeching power out of the visor. I've always loved that look for Cyclops. I thought it was just an awesome aspect of his power, just to show what he can do without actually making him use his power. And then of course you've got more of that metallic blue up at the top, more of that really saturated bright white. The face sculpt looks just as good as the other two figures we've gotten, but it's really the visor, just the idea of having a Cyclops that isn't just standing there doing nothing. He's standing there, well, maybe doing nothing, but you can still see a little bit of action in him, a little bit of dynamic just look about him without actually having to have him be doing anything else. He looks really cool just standing there as is, and all of that comes through because of this head sculpt as far as I'm concerned. Another key difference we have with this figure is that we finally get accessories with a Cyclops figure, and this guy comes with this nightmarish extra head to start with, and you can see that he's gritting his teeth. It's the same type of head, so same style of cover, the blue, the white, you've got the visor, you've got a little bit of power spilling out, a little bit of optic blast, but then you've also got this massive hole, and you've got a very nice gritting teeth, angry kind of head sculpt, and this guy is meant to be used finally with an effect piece. So you have got an optic blast that fits into the hole in the visor, and I think it's a fantastic effect. You know, I'm saying that as someone who has bought third-party effects for the other figures just to have something, because Hasbro's never given them to us. And while those have worked fine, I've been really wanting something that right out of the gate from Hasbro that has been meant to be used with the figure. So this is a lot more stable because it actually sits inside the head sculpt. It's got a little bit of texture to it, and of course it's got, you know, a different varying lengths of blast as it kind of like shoots out of his face. So I'm really happy with this. I think this is the perfect accessory for Cyclops, and honestly it's what we've all been asking for a couple years now. And then, because why not, here's a quick comparison of our classic Cyclops, our X-Factor Cyclops, and our Jim Lee era Cyclops. And you can see that, I mean, there's not really a great deal to compare to. They are very similar figures. They just accomplish different things, different eras, different looks. And this one has been a long favorite of mine, but this figure is really taken the cake for me personally, just because of the fact that it's got that suit that I love, just from a nostalgia standpoint. And then it comes with these two new fantastic heads and the energy effect. The package alone is really hard to top compared to the other previous figures, which really don't bring anything else to the table but the figure themselves. So overall, this is really exactly what I wanted it to be. When I knew we were getting this figure, I knew right away I have to have it. This is a Cyclops that I've been wanting for quite a while. Again, it, you know, pushes all the nostalgia buttons for me. It comes with new stuff that really accentuates the character of Cyclops, shows off his power set finally in Legends form, and I'm really happy to have him. I think he moves well, he looks good, he has great accessories, and there's not a whole lot to complain about with this guy. I think this is going to be one of the must-have figures in this retro wave. Certainly there are a couple figures that you want to get first just because we don't have them, but Cyclops is a great new addition to two already existing Cyclops figures, and frankly right now he kind of wins for me in terms of comparison just because he has so much new cool stuff. So that's going to do it for this look at the retro X-Men Wave Cyclops figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.